It looks like you guys guessed it. In this iceberg video, I will be wading through the deep icy waters to uncover the secrets and mysteries of this beloved game series. This is the Plants vs Zombies Iceberg Explained. Similar to my previous iceberg videos, I will be using these sunflowers to determine how much is known about each subject. Also, if you enjoy the video, consider subscribing, as it really helps me out. Help note. Throughout the game, you are kindly given helpful tips in the form of notes, written by the zombies. This entry on the iceberg specifically references the help note, which you can read on screen right now. Usually, each note precedes a conveyor belt level, however, this one can be accessed from the main menu by clicking this vase here, Michael Jackson Zombie. The Michael Jackson Zombie was the original version of the dancing zombie that wore the same outfit as Michael Jackson does in the Thriller music video. This was changed in later versions of the game, as the estate of Michael Jackson thought that the design shared too close a resemblance. Bloom and Doom Seed Company. Bloom and Doom Seed Company is the fictional company that manufactures the plants that are used by the player in Plants vs Zombies. What you might not know is that there is also a record label in the game called Bloom and Doom Records. Imitator Almanac Entry. If you take a look at the imitator in the almanac, you might notice the interesting description which reads, "I remember the zombies wars back in '76, says the imitator in a raspy old man's voice. Back then we didn't have all these fancy pea shooters and jalapenos. All we had was guts. Guts and a spoon." DS version Versus Mode. The Versus Mode, which was first introduced on the DS and later released for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions, is a game mode that allows one player to be the plants and one player to be the zombies in a 1v1 battle. Lawnmowers can kill balloon zombies. Although the balloon zombies are floating in midair, it is actually possible for the lawnmowers to defeat them, which, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense. Great Wall Edition. Plants vs Zombies Great Wall Edition is a Chinese-only version that was released on mobile in May 2012. It featured minor gameplay changes, reskinned zombies, and a change of area to fit the Great Wall theme. Unfortunately, the game has now been removed from the App Store and Google Play Store in most countries. Limbo Page. The Limbo Page is a hidden amount of data in the PC version of Plants vs Zombies that contains 20 unused minigames, alongside 4 variations on Survival Endless that were going to be added to the game, but were eventually cancelled. The games that are included in this data are as follows: Art Challenge Walnut, Sunny Day, Unsodded, Big Time, Art Challenge Sunflower, Air Raid, Ice Level, High Gravity, Grave Danger, Can You Dig It, Dark Stormy Night, Bungee Blitz, Intro, Survival, Day, Night, Fog and Roof, Squirrel, and Upsell, which is where Crazy Dave tries to convince the player to upgrade to the full version of Plants vs Zombies. But don't worry, because these minigames can actually still be accessed in the game through the use of cheats. Space Ogres. If you look at the Suburban Almanac entry for the Zamboni, it states that they are more closely related to space ogres than to regular zombies. So this asks the question, what are the space ogres? Ice Shroom freezes the pool. You can try this one out for yourself, but unfortunately, although it does seem logical, in practice this does not actually work. Giga Football Zombie. He's the same as the football zombie, except he has more health, and a magnet shroom cannot remove his helmet. He is only available in the online version Survival and Vase Breaker modes. Also, the Giga Football Zombie has spikes on his shoulders. Sunflowerless Challenge. The Sunflowerless Challenge is, as the name would suggest, playing through the campaign of Plants vs Zombies without using a single sunflower plant, which is quite the challenge, as you get a very limited amount of sun to work with, especially in the night sections. 2 Seed Slot Challenge. On the theme of challenges, there is another challenge where you must complete the campaign whilst only using 2 seed slots. The Fog Machine. This entry could be a reference to 2 things. First one being the fog machine zombie from Plants vs Zombies 3 that creates fog in adjacent tiles. Alternatively, it could be a reference to the fog levels actually being caused by a fog machine, which can be seen in the Zombies on My Lawn music video. Pea shooter zombies shoot at plants even while hypnotized. You might not know that pea shooter zombies will still shoot at plants even if they are hypnotized by the hypno shroom. We don't know whether this is intended or just gameplay oversight. Unused zombatory track. There is a secret unused zombatory track that can still be found in the game's files. Here it is for you now. Sunflower cost 100 sun during development. During the development of the first Plants vs Zombies game, the sunflower originally cost 100 sun, but was changed to a much more reasonable 50 for gameplay balance. Zombies are allergic to walnuts. Although the zombies seem to have no problem munching down on them, this theory states that they may be indeed allergic to the walnuts, although there really is no proof of this being true. Stage 6. Stage 6, or World 6, is a hidden stage that is unplayable by normal means, but can be accessed by cheat engine. This stage is an endless day level, and seems to be a duplicate of level 5-9. We can assume that it is likely a placeholder for a scrapped 6th stage. Zombie Vase. This entry is just about the vases that contain a zombie in the Vase Breaker game mode. How did a zombie get stuck in a vase? Opening cutscene skip. I've done a bit of research into this, but I haven't found any way to skip the opening cutscene outside of modding the game. Lawn of the Dead. Lawn of the Dead was the original planned name for Plants vs Zombies, with it being a reference to the George A. Romero film, Dawn of the Dead. However, Romero decided not to allow the developer to use that name, and so Plants vs Zombies was chosen instead. At the time, there were several other names considered, including Bloom and Doom, which was used as branding for the seed packets, and Residential Evil, which of course is a reference to Resident Evil. The Almanac is a lie. While there are a few inconsistencies in the Almanac relating to stats and descriptions for both zombies and plants, I would argue that these are likely developer oversights, rather than the Almanac being a lie. Spikeweed Degrade. This is an unused mechanic, where the spikeweed would degrade after a set amount of time, rendering it useless. The taco has human meat. This one might have some validity to it, as Crazy Dave says there is tofunky in his taco, which we could believe is tofu, but some have argued that the squishy texture might mean that the taco is made from human brains. Gargantuas are 3 feet tall. While I could do some game theory and calculate the height of gargantuas, we could probably deduce that they are fairly tall and easily above 3 feet from their in-game model. However, you might notice that in their design, they carry a much smaller zombie on their back, which could definitely be 3 feet tall. Crazy Dave is a zombie. Yes, there is good evidence to suggest Crazy Dave is in fact a zombie. Firstly, Crazy Dave speaks his own language, but what if this isn't a language and is actually the groans of a turning zombie? Secondly, when you encounter Dr. Zombos in the far future, he tells the player that Dave is a sleeper agent, and will turn against the player upon saying hypno-zombanosis when the fight between Zombot Tomarotron is over. Crazy Dave will ask for the player's brains, but quickly corrects himself and says that he meant hot sauce. Ice Level. The Ice Level is one of the hidden minigames in the Limbo page. This minigame was considered useless, as no one knew how to play it. The creators were thinking of making levels covered in snow, where the zombie yeti would appear, but this did not work out, and so it was left in an incomplete state. The player character is Crazy Dave's imaginary friend. This theory is based off the idea that Crazy Dave lives up to his name, and is actually crazy. He believes in an imaginary friend that helps him defend his home from a horde of zombies by using plants, whereas, in reality, there are no zombies. Plants cannot be used as weapons, and the player does not actually exist, as this is all in Crazy Dave's imagination. 1 seed slot challenge. Warning, only true gamers should attempt this one. This is another challenge similar to the 2 seed slot challenge, but much harder, where the player can only use 1 seed slot per level. As you could probably guess, Zomboss is Crazy Dave's brother. Dr. Edgar George Zomboss is the main antagonist and leader of the zombie horde in Plants vs Zombies, who acts as the final boss in the first game, but appears in several other installments to taunt Crazy Dave. If you remember the Crazy Dave is a zombie theory from earlier in the Iceberg, you'll know that Dr. Zomboss tries to convince the player that Crazy Dave is a zombie. This suggests that the Doctor and Dave are linked in some other way. Can you guess what that is? Content farms. This entry on the Iceberg is pertaining to the massive amount of low effort Plants vs Zombies content that can be found on YouTube that gets millions of views for seemingly no reason. I mean, not including this video, obviously. The Tree of Wisdom Utopia. The Tree of Wisdom in Plants vs Zombies is a purchasable feature that provides the player with tips and cheats as you grow it with tree food. This theory suggests that the Tree of Wisdom's great knowledge also includes how to build a place of ideal perfection, also known as a utopia. But as far as we know, the tree runs out of wisdom after reaching 1,000 feet.
Bombshell! It's time to end. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Take care.